West Tigers fans, our boys went down to the South Sydney Rabbitohs. We're going to review a game that we let slip, and we're also going to preview next week's game against the New Zealand Warriors, and plenty to talk about with a certain player heading off to the UK from the West Tigers roster. Is another episode, this time coming from the new iChoice studio with the boys in one room. Let's do it on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Welcome in, West Tigers fans, to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please give us a follow at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and the website to go to westtigers.com.au if you want to find everything that we do, including our new sponsor. A big welcome to iChoice. They're our a new sponsor. We're coming from the from their studio, the iChoice studio, very fancy, as Riff Raff put in the comments here on the regulars coming through on the YouTube channel. Please give us a like and a subscribe on the YouTube channel and patreon.com/WestLife if you want to join in on the fun, and a couple of boys that do have plenty of fun in on the Discord. Let's go to Roberto first. Roberto, welcome to the iChoice studio. How are you this evening on a Tuesday?
Excellent, Josh. Good to be here with you and Aaron. I hope you're both well. This is quite exciting here, being at the iChoice head office. Looking forward to it, and I hope we get to do many more shows together here.
And just got his stats and his notes ready to go. It's the stats man, Aaron Thompson. How are you this evening, Az?
Yeah, g'day, Josh. G'day, Rob. It is a little bit different being here. I hope everyone who's watching or listening enjoys this, because it's obviously a bit of a different experience for us as well. So, we'll see how we go.
We're doing it live, so what's the worst that could happen? We haven't been in... God, what was the last time we were all in the room together doing a pod? Like, it'll be the start of last season or something. It's been a while.
At least a year, maybe more.
But exciting. So, all in the room, all together. Rob can actually see the notes and screen. It's
very impressive.
Exciting, very exciting. So,
different scenery from the Red Room.
Definitely.
Let's get into it as I bring up the slide. There we go. And of course, we start every episode as well with our partners in Mobile Corp as well. Mobile Corp, they support local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who can take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place. That's a bit of a hot topic again at the moment. A bit of cybersecurity, really got to get that sorted if you have a small business. Handle all your mobile device needs. Mobile Corp can help. They are a family-run business, long-time supporter of the West Tigers. Reach out to Stephen and the team at Mobile Corp and check out mobilecorp.com.au and mobilecorp.com.au. Righto, we're getting on to the big news that broke this afternoon. We were literally just looking at it just before we went on air, and we saw Rob NRL 360 thinking about the John Bateman situation. So a bit of a weird one if you haven't heard. He is being sent to England. He's packing his bags. He's heading home to England. He's going to play for Warrington and then come back for the start of the NRL season next year. It's a bit of a weird one.
I'm perplexed by it, really. There's obviously reasons, and we've got to trust Richo and Benji for whatever they're planning. It seems unlikely he'd come back. Perhaps he's going to Warrington to sort of show what he can provide. I mean, he was quite ill-disciplined on Saturday against South, but at the same time, he did make a few good runs. If he was to stay, you would think, why wouldn't he stay for the rest of the year in terms of forming combinations with some new players? Like, we're trying to improve. We're trying to get some cohesion. We've seen in the last probably month or so, just for example, with our back line, Adam Dwayhe switching from left centre to right centre to left centre to right centre. We've seen wingers swap sides. We've seen Fata Ape go. left wing, left centre, right centre. I don't know. It's just all, we don't know what it is. So we've just got to start forming some combinations. And this was the last one I expected. I'd heard maybe 3 months ago we were shopping around Clemmer. And since I was told we were shopping around Clemmer, we've lost Papali'i. Looks like we're about to lose Steph tomorrow, possibly to Melbourne or Canterbury. And now we've lost Bateman. There's just so much experience going out of that pack, potentially even Clemmer next year. So I'm sure there's some salary cap reasons there as well. But look, I think I just think there's so much going on right now. It's quite easy for NRL 360, to keep bashing us and keep having a go at us. But I guess when you keep losing and these sort of things happening and you're trying to build for the future and then everyone's suddenly departing. And like they did mention on 360, Jerome Luai's coming next year and he's meant to be playing behind a really strong pack. And if hypothetically Steph leaves, Clemmer leaves, you both your starting props and then both your back rowers, your second rowers go in Papali'i and Bateman, they need replacing. So you're going to have a very young pack with the exception of Api Coruscant there. Look, we'll just see how it pans out, but it's not, what's the right term to say? It's not exactly a vote of confidence. I don't know whether it's from the players or whether it's Richo pushing these guys out the door, but it just seems weird to me that Bateman was captain on Saturday and now he's gone. Like, I do not get that part. If he wasn't captain, he was just in the team and then this happened, it would make sense. But a lot seems to have happened since Saturday, unless this was, of course, pre-organised two Saturdays.
Possibly.
Game. So,
well, Papali'i's back this week.
It's just a really, really strange one. Look, doesn't really get much worse at the moment, does it? But we love the Tigers. We're still here. We're still talking about them. And there were glimpses on Saturday that, they just gave me goosebumps. Like we'll talk about it obviously when we go through the tries, but just the one moment with Da Silva to Galvin, that was Jerry Maguire, you had me at hello stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just when I saw that, it's like, okay, well, I've got something to look forward to next year. So, we just have to try and keep the positives. We are going to have a really good spine, but if we potentially lose 4 of our starting pack this year, it's very hard to expect, some success for next year. So, but, we'll sit here and hope and look, just on Richo, everyone's like, I think they're trying to bag Richo a bit with everything that's going on. I think the blokes work tirelessly, and I'm not talking about just the football squad, but just everything he's trying to change within the structure of the club. He's got to sort out all this home ground mess, and then when he seemed to have sorted out the home ground stuff, suddenly we got funding at Leichhardt. So then they've had to re-delve that and see how many games we're going to play, next year. Like, he's just got so much on his plate. I think he's doing a great job, and some things are going to happen on the footy field that we're not happy with, but I'm sure he's, consulting with Benji, who's the head coach. So I just think, just give him a chance. He's been there 9 months and he's trying to fix the mess from the 2 dopes that were there before him anyway, and the CEO and the chairman. So I got faith in him. I mean, when I sort of don't do podcasts anymore, I stop talking about the Tigers, then you can worry about it. But I've got faith that we'll come good. It's just a matter of when will we come good? Will it be 2025 or 2028? But I've got faith in Richo.
Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, it seems like a strange time of the season for Bateman to go back to England as well, because I don't know how long is left in the Super League comp, but I'd say it's probably not more than maybe 6-7 weeks before their finals, because I think their grand finals a little bit before ours. I think Warrington at the moment are fairly close to the top of the ladder, but it just seems like a really strange short-term proposition, especially if he is coming back to the Tigers next year. Obviously, we don't know if he is. We don't know if Richardson is going to try and get him to come back. So, yeah, it just feels really strange, the timing of it, where the season's at over here and over there. Obviously, we're no hope of making finals, but Warrington will most likely be there come the pointy end of their season. And, yeah, it just all seems, the timing just feels a bit funky.
Ben on the comments said Warrington are second, apparently. So there you go. He's going straight.
It seems to me like it's an extended holiday, Josh. Like, I mean, I know he's going to play some footy there, but it's almost like go home, freshen up.
Maybe.
It's a second tier sort of standard anyway in terms of rugby league. Not that our standard on the weekend was close to first tier, to be fair.
Here's what I think is the reason behind it. It's a pure guess based on basically a hunch. I don't know that Richo is doing this, but here is what I think is the go with this. And if it's true, I think it's actually a good idea. So obviously this year is a write-off. There's nothing else to do this year. There's no point in Bateman playing the rest of the year. Him going overseas doesn't affect. We don't have a run to the finals. So if this means that Warrington are picking up his salary for the rest of this year, so until November 1, which is, so if he's on roughly 600K and there's...
It's probably a bit more, but
it's for... You reckon it's more?
It's probably 700.
All right, look, call 600 because it's easier math.
Easy to divide by 4.
We'll divide by 3. It's about a third of the year left between July and November, 4 months, a third of a year.
Yeah.
So you're talking 200K.
Yeah.
200K that we can give to someone else.
Yeah.
Like some guy who might be off contract and might be going to the Melbourne Storm. Maybe we can go to him, look, when we can give you this extra 200K if you sign the deal that we've offered you right now. Now, whatever you think about Steph, I know a lot of people, I threw a little bit of fishing line out on Twitter, on our Twitter today to see what people were thinking about the Stefano situation. A lot of people are like, well, he's shit, let him go sort of thing. Anyway, I think a lot of the fan base are very much out on Steph, which I think is unfair. And I think he's not showing at the moment that he's an 800K player, but I think a lot of it's getting to him. And I think he is worth 800K. And if we can get him to sign a contract, look, they might even lower it or something. I don't know. Don't know the exact mass. I'm playing all hypothetical money ball here. But if that's 200, 150, 200, even if it's 100K that we're saving on Bateman, 100K could be the difference between Steph going to Melbourne and signing a 5-year deal.
But do you really think it's about money?
I think it's 100% about money.
I'm not so sure, because
what else could it be about? It's all about money.
In his contract, it's basically about winning. It's about, if we make semis, I stay. If I play Origin, I stay. It's about a club doing well.
Sorry, I meant for Richo. It's about money.
Oh, for Richo, it's about money. Of course, for Richo, it's about money. I meant for Steph. I feel like Steph's going to go. Like a lot of people are bagging the Tigers for not withdrawing their offer if he's leaving. I actually don't mind the offer still being on the table, because it does, even if it's desperation, it does show that we still want you, we still believe in you, and we don't want you to go. It's not like, oh, well, if you're going to leave us stuff, you will pull the offer. I think there's no difference between pulling the offer and keeping it there and him rejecting it tomorrow. So I think it's fine still having that offer there. It's still a big show of faith from us. It shows we want him. I just hope he sees enough of the young talent in the club to want to be a part of it, because it's a fair point. Props are props. They're not really changing the games. They just set a platform for your backs to, your halves to do some good things. So why not do it at a club that's got so much potential coming up? If he goes to the Storm, I could wear it. If he goes to Canterbury, I'd be a little bit dirty. But at the end of the day, Steph doesn't answer to any of us. He answers to himself. So he's got to do what makes him happy. But again, it's another piece that we kind of factored in on hoping to have and hoping to be a part of our future. He's certainly got some issues in defence, like sticking his arm out. He's got his lateral movement really needs to be worked on. But when he wants to run that ball and he goes hard, he's very hard to stop.
In saying that, though, he's also built up a pretty decent combination with Appy in recent times. Yeah. He's one of the few props who really knows what his hooker is thinking, especially with those no-look passes out of dummy half that Appy's laid on for him a few times. Like, you're not going to get that sort of combination between a lot of hookers and a lot of props, and that is something that obviously it's worked for us a couple of times this year. Probably could work a little bit more moving forward if it's a play that they make at the right time, but he's probably not going to get that at another club, maybe at the Storm with Harry Grant, but I don't think he would at the Dogs with Reid Marnie.
Well, one of the points in case, like you're mentioning, was at Campbelltown when he shows the ball left, Appy shows the ball left, comes back to the right, and the timing of Steph's run to hit that at pace to go over for the try. Like, that's what you're talking about. And
that's a bit of communication there between the hooker and the prop.
Like you said, he understands Appy's game really well now.
Phil, our guy in England, said as there's 9 rounds left of Super League, and the grand final is after the NRL grand final.
Close.
Just to Phil, man in England, I put your WestsLife jersey in the mail. So not only is John Bateman going to England, a WestsLife jersey's heading over to the UK to Phil's house, and just in time for a nice chilly autumn, I guess, incoming for England. I guess chilly summer.
I was about to say
when
it's
you're in
chilly in
England.
summer
Yeah,
over there
it's
too, isn't
England.
it?
Where you wear the jumper all year round over there.
Warm with that spotlight on us, let me tell you.
He's starting to sweat.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Hot under the collar.
We need every single wrinkle on our head to show on the camera. If I turn it off, it gets a bit pixelated. So it's what the fans want. Give them what they want. Righto, let's talk about that game on what day was it? I was there. Saturday afternoon. I headed up to Gosford, took the young bloke to his second game of West Tigers footy this year. Unfortunately, he didn't get the win. This time, look, this game, I hate to throw it all on the hands of one person, but I honestly, look, it's not 100% certain, but if, was it Luke Lally that dropped the ball?
Yep.
If he doesn't drop that ball, I think we win this game. And
I certainly think it was a turning point.
I think a 90% chance we win this game. Look, they might have fucked it up anyway. Who knows? But they literally threw away a try, momentum, like with the ball up for, I think it was about 15. How long did it go as? You got the time.
He dropped that ball literally between the 59 and 60 minute mark.
Yeah,
I think the pass to Cody
was the Cody
Walker
try,
too, by
in
the
the
way.
59th minute.
Yeah,
spewing about that, but I honestly think we get them. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I mean, it's probably the key point in the game and the turning point in the game. But look, I just thought we did a lot of things so wrong before that, and obviously, supplemented with some unbelievably beautiful football. The try before half time, the try to Galvin, just the Tallyn Da Silva, basically mimicking a young Robbie Farah. The way he was he literally moved exactly like in the show and the go, and just taking off the way he did. To me, it was a lot like the Cowboys game that we lost in North Queensland, and coincidentally, that scoreline was 42-28 as well. We got off to a poor start, having started well with the ball in hand and running strongly. Then, against North Queensland, we were down something like 20-0 after 20 minutes, and we were down 10-0 really quickly against South. But like that North Queensland game, we got back into the game, Josh, and it looked like we had chances to go ahead. We got the lead, like nothing deliberate, but a couple of unlucky drop balls. Galvin tried to push a pass in the red zone. Fanua Bole dropped a ball in the red zone. I think he got a pass across from Steph. There was a chance to grab that game by the scruff of the neck, and we didn't. And we just made so many low IQ decisions in that game, guys. Someone's got an alarm.
Yeah,
going
someone's
from
got an
next door.
alarm. It's not my car, is it?
Someone's car. Yeah, it is a car actually. But anyway, I just thought we had our chances to win it. We did so many silly things. I know you mentioned that Luke thing, and Luke made a couple of big mistakes after that as well. But up until that 59th, 60th minute, he played fantastically well. So let's not just bash him in his third game or something like that, second or third game. So he played really well. I'm actually going to put that drop ball on Jareem Buller. Jareem Buller should never have passed that ball. I've got a whole list here if you want me to go through it at any stage during the show about dumb sort of low IQ moments. But
the building we're in.
Really? I don't know what's going on there. Is that going to go on all game?
I don't know.
Anyway, so I just think when you've got the wind behind you the way we did in that second half, and we'd seen how the wind was playing up, I don't think Buller should be throwing 10 or 12 metre passes that can float forward to a bloke. Granted, it should have been caught, but it's just a needless play. You don't need to do that. You can take the tackle and let the hooker take the next hit up, or the winger, I should say, take the next hit up or whatever. So I just think it was an unnecessary pass, and there were so many silly things we did in that game that just showed we were playing footy, but we weren't thinking about our footy. Like, there was no... You've got to pick your moments when to play and when not to play, and when to conserve the ball and when to throw the ball around. And we just mucked it up. We just mucked it up badly. And I think I listed roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I listed about 14 or 15 different things in different minutes of the game that you just think, why? There was just no need for that.
Yeah, 100%. Look, we could well have just found out another way to stuff it up. But Emmanuel said in the comments here, they can't hear the alarm's not going through the mic, so that's good.
That's a win.
It's really annoying for us, but I'm glad it's not annoying.
Right.
Not annoying the thousands of listeners. Right, let's go. I've cut the Tigers try. Let's not talk about the filthy Rabbitohs try. So they obviously scored the first two. and then a lovely try to Lockie.
That's a great run to Silva. Back to Galvin. Two of the kindergarten players for the Tigers with respect.
Yeah, Vossi said two of the kindergarten players as.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% keen on that because they're not kindergartners. They're teenagers.
Well, it's obviously a metaphor, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it still doesn't sound all that great when you're talking about basically grown men who are footy players. But I mean, it was really good signs to see those two in particular combining early in the game. And obviously, we'll get to the second try in a minute. But the second try was pretty much from the two of them and their hard work as well. So a lot of good signs from the kids moving forward.
Add on that, you've kind of already.
No, I've mentioned it already.
You mentioned you're right. When he made that run, Robbie Farah did.
And he did a run
Robbie
before
Farah
that
a lot,
as well,
but I really
Josh. He did a run before that, like coming out of our end. He just, the times he actually picked his moments when to run perfectly. He never overplayed his hand, just made the right moves at the right time. It was a really good attacking game from him anyway.
And then he scored one himself.
Just 5 metres away. Another quick play the ball from Buller. Da Silva's gone over. Tallyn Da Silva is having an afternoon to remember.
You're not a bad few minutes for young Da Silva, was it?
Yeah, no, that try, I think they were back-to-back sets as well.
It was.
We got down the field really well. Obviously, it was one of the few sets we completed. Bring a try, which resulted in another try. And I just thought the two of them, Lockie and Tallyn, were showing really good signs early, and it was really promising and positive.
And then, so I believe Alex Johnston, a double for Alex Johnston. Look, we'll hit on it. Tane Milne, former Tiger, for a minute there. He had some shockers in recent past, but put Alex Johnston. I think Alex Johnston had about 80 centimetres of meter gain for those two tries. One of them possibly forward, but whatever. That's our right side wasn't. Look, that was a safe bet, wasn't it? That Alex Johnston was going to score a try.
At least one try, and he did. He got two.
Anything to add?
No. But that again, they came on the back of poor errors. We'd given a 6 again for the first try from what's the guy's name? Moala, whatever his name is. Anyway, Danny, whatever his name is. That came off their last tackle. We gave him a 6 again, which Adam compounded with a penalty, and then from that set they scored. And then I'm pretty sure that try that you're mentioning, it was either that try or the second try, but that came from like a short line dropout that went 25 metres. And who are we kicking to?
It was a shit kick.
It was just a shit kick. So
you're going to go short. Make sure it's short, and it's not a penalty anymore. So why? Yeah, when they drop 20 metres out, they're not long, they're not short. It's just shit. Look, Appy wasn't there to kick those, I guess. But on the stroke of half time, there was a bit of life.
Fuller with it, kept alive, right up to the 40th minute. In the final seconds, Lalali'i gets it back in field. Galvin, the Tigers! Jerome Buller has scored. What an exclamation mark on the first half.
Yeah, as another sign, Buller scoring right on the stroke of half time. Yeah, definitely one of the things to positive. So I feel like our right edge and their right edge, both pretty weak, and there was plenty to be had out there. But a nice try in half time, and at that point, I'm like, you know what, 4 points down, we can win this.
Yeah, it was really really good to see. Obviously their left edge, our left edge, got a lot of positives out of the game. I just really like the way we spread the ball all the way to the left on that play, out to Luke, and then Luke almost getting a little bit of a break down the sideline there, but finding Lockie just enough to be able to put Jareem away. I was a little bit concerned, though, because Lockie looked like he was in front of Luke at one point. He kind of had to slow it back down and get back behind, so there was no forward pass issues. And then he threw a little bit of a shoddy pass, I think it might have been, into the lower lap of Jareem, but Jareem did well to grab a hold of it and streak away. And I was really excited seeing that, honestly. I thought we've really got a bit of momentum going into halftime now. And we showed, obviously, at the other side of halftime that we come to play. And yeah, I just really enjoyed the way a lot of the youngsters kind of carried themselves throughout the game.
And then after halftime, we were first to score, and I believe they put us back in the lead from memory.
Yeah, 24-22.
Away for Caesar. Wide of ball down there. Kept alive by Tuppy. The Tigers on their way again. Charlie Staines scores in the corner. The Tigers with tries either side of half time.
24-all. We're trying to do the maths here on what the score was
I'm sure South scored
at that
first.
point.
Could be wrong. I'm sure South scored first, but
In the first half?
in the second half.
Yeah, no.
Second half?
Stainsy scored in the 47th minute. The first Souths try of the second half was Cody Walker's in the 59th.
59,
Yeah.
yeah. So we, last of the first and first of the last. So, Charlie Staines right in the corner. I was a bit worried that his right hand might have touched the ground before he did, but he, he's loving those put downs in the corner as.
Yeah, at least that one didn't damage him like the one at Campbelltown last year did.
Mm.
But yeah, wingers these days putting on all the showy performances. I was watching the game with Dad. Dad said he didn't think Charlie needed to do the swan dive, but I kind of think he did because Jai was coming in the fullback position and probably would have gotten to him if he didn't kind of dive and reach out. But yeah, like you said, Josh, it was a little bit concerning that he nearly managed to put his hand or arm or elbow on the ground outside the field. Yeah,
I mean,
no, the way he did it was perfect. He just has to make sure next time his right hand's a little bit higher, so all West Tigers supporters don't lose a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, but it's like you said, as it gave him. My wife said the same thing watching it live. He's like, "Why did he do that?" Well, it meant that there was just zero opportunity for the cover defense to
switch
touch
the ball
him.
into his left hand.
Yeah, it was
did everything
perfect.
right. So
they obviously practice it non-stop.
Exactly.
Good on you, Charlie.
And he had a great game too. I think.
Dennis said in the comments here it might be his best ever game for us as well. So after that, we scored again through Sione Fainu. Is that right in the timeline? Did South score after that, or was Fainu after that?
South after that.
Oh no, yeah, we scored again.
Yeah,
Sione Fainus was in the 54th minute before Cody Walker's 5 minutes later. Yeah,
he's out. Da Silva, Lanu Fainu, he's got the kick, deflection, played it, Tigers 76 again. Sione Fainu, he's got it. Crashes over the line.
What a moment for the Fainu family. I think all three of them were on the field at that point too. I think
so. Yeah. I think the commentators mentioned it. When I watched the replay.
I enjoyed that one, and I thought we were going all right at this point. But
Sione Fainu did some good things. He really did play a decent game off the bench.
Yeah. Anything to add on that one, Az?
No, I think that pretty much covered it. It was just a really great moment for the three brothers. I thought all of them had pretty solid games for when they were on the field as well.
Right, let's go to your player ratings for that game. Unless you guys got anything else to add on that game? Any other talking points? I guess we can get to player by player.
I'll get through some of the more stuff that we did, but later on.
If you head to your slide, it's got the player rating, so you guys can see the numbers that we're looking at. So the Benji Marshall coaching is interesting. Lots of 6, 7s, and 8s. So I thought Benji might have got a bit of a whack in this one, but I think people, plenty of faith in Benji on this one. I mean, the coach doesn't drop the ball, I guess. It's not him dropping the ball. So I don't know. How did you feel about Benji in this one, Rob?
Oh, look, personally, I go back to some of the mistakes we did, and I just think, how are they being coached? So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm assuming Benji's told the guys, he's not going to say that we're going to come last or second last or whatever, but he said to the boys, just play what's in front of you, have a bit of fun. If something's on, give it a go. But that said, you don't want to see, silly errors after you've scored and giving the opposition the ball back in your red zone just after you've put on 4 points or 6 points. You don't want to see, like Bateman did, one-on-one strips on the fourth tackle, stuff like that. And he even did another strip later in the game, I think, against Cheekham that was a penalty. You just don't want to see moments where it's needless. Adam throwing a flick pass after we'd made a long break. There was still a tackle left. Like, take the tackle, swing it across to the right or get the kick in. There's just, I don't know, it's one thing to what I'd call play West Tigers footy, which is that sort of have a go, throw it around stuff. But we've got to be a little bit smarter than that. It's all, you may as well just throw the ball around hot potato from the first tackle if you're going to do that. I just think the style we're playing, some of it's got to come back to Benji. And don't get me wrong, it's attractive, but it's not. We've got to be smart in that. We've got to respect the ball a little bit more. We've got to respect the opposition a bit more. But more importantly, when we've done the hard work and scored a try, kicked a goal, scored some points, realize how hard it is to score 6 points and just get to your kick on the fifth tackle on the next set. You got the win behind. You don't even need to wait till the fifth tackle. Just boot the crap out of it on the third or fourth tackle and pin South in there, get a good kick chase and grind away. But we just seem to be playing. It's like, don't get me wrong, they're trying, but it's a soft football. It's a soft attitude, soft way to play. I want to see the boys play a little bit more tough, a little bit more grindy, like protect the points that you've scored. Don't just give it away willy-nilly with a stupid pass, like I've got in the notes here, stupid pass from Bateman to Buller who drops the ball. There was no need for Bateman to offload that ball. It wasn't a try-scoring situation. Sure, Buller might have picked up another 4 or 5 meters. Just take the tackle, mate. And that's an experienced player. This isn't someone who's 18 or 19 like the 5 of them that we had in that squad. It's a guy who's played over 200 rugby league games at least, making silly errors like that. And he didn't need to, because it undoes all the good work that he did through the game.
In terms of player ratings, so 2 10 out of 10 performances, Tallyn Da Silva and Lachlan Galvin. No surprises there. Charlie Staines got a 90%, so a 9 out of 10. Fanua Pole and Sione Fainu both got 88%, so up there as well. So those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys as a bit of a standout. Drew Buller, 61%. Latu Fainu, 55%. So anyone on that list as boys that you think are hard done by? Obviously, Lockie and Tallyn in a tier of their own, and Charlie had a pretty good game.
I think that they're pretty fair myself.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, Lockie and Tallyn, clear standouts, absolutely outstanding games from the pair of them. Samuel Fainu as well had the 61%, same as Jareem, which I think was maybe a little bit unders. I thought Samuela was pretty good too, and he's just been both consistent.
He's been so good.
Buller and Samuela were really, really good. They probably should have been higher, in my opinion.
I'm really, though I am, like I said, I'm really enjoying Samuela's consistency. I think he's probably been, other than say Appy and Lockie, he's probably been top 3 in most consistent players, and just putting in for the team week in, week out, doing what he needs to do, doing his role, doing it well, and just being a team player.
On the down votes, so big whacks for poor Luke Lalui, Aiden Caesar, obviously John Bateman, David Clemmer. Look, we haven't talked about the Aiden Caesar hip drop. It's fucking just frustrating. Another game, another sin bin, Rob.
Look, I mean, that doesn't get looked at if he doesn't stay down, does it?
Yeah.
But that said, the bloke's only come back recently from the same sort of injury. So, they've got to, I mean, he looked like he was in pain, but, probably could have got a little bit of maybe a nomination for an Academy Award. Maybe it wasn't a full-blown Academy Award.
I yelled a few things that I'm not proud of in front of my 3-year-old son.
No, but I mean, I don't think it was, I don't know, I don't think that was that deliberate for Maitland Seas. It was just a tackle. I mean, why didn't these things happen 10 and 20 years ago? Like, why is it suddenly happening now? Like, I don't get it. I don't, like, so many tackles back in the day were hip drops. Like, how are you supposed to drag a bloke to the ground in general when you're behind them? It's quite unfortunate. I mean, I got really nothing more to say on it, mate. It's just you can't go a game without expecting a Tigers sin bin at the moment, can you guys?
Yeah, I remember saying to my dad and my brother as we were watching the game at around the 60th minute mark, I think it might have been, there were about 20 minutes left in the game. I said, we've gone 60 minutes without a sin bin so far. It's close to a record in recent times. Can we go the rest of the game without one?
So it's your fault.
Turns out we couldn't. I mean, blame me if you want. I might as well.
Or maybe the guy that's done it before. But like you said, it's just frustrating. Like you said, because he stayed down and then he was perfectly fine
to score a try later on.
It's one of the things I hate most in rugby league at the moment is the players.
It's not soccer.
Down. It's starting to get to a really concerning time players were doing it with crushes. I think a couple of seasons ago,
Yeah.
they lay down on the ground, hand on their neck, kind of just being like, oh, geez. And then after the whistle's blown, hand off the neck, straight up to their feet, ready to give the ball to their nearest playmaker, and off they go.
You can't do anything about that hip drop one because they stay down and they don't get punished. But if you feign a head injury, at least now they make you go off for that 15-minute period. If you want to say you copped a high shot, and they know they're milking it, they seem to get the independent doctor to get the bloke off the field and get assessed. So you're taking a big risk if you want to act
in the NBA.
Headshot.
The NBA's started fining players for flopping and faking injuries now. I reckon NRL's bring it in, but it's not soccer. The
AFL does too. They've got, I think, a staging fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, 3-2-1 time. So, Rob, who are your 3-2-1 this week?
Look, I gave it to Lockie Galvin this week. He just excites me every time I watch him play. It's only a little thing, guys, but when he's got time, the way he passes the ball is just beautiful to watch. The timing, how he puts it on his support player's chest. He tries hard. You know he's going to run the ball and he still runs it. He's an absolute winner. He's doing everything he can to lift the team. You can see he loves rugby league just in general. He loves winning and he loves his club. So he's trying his guts out. Had a blinder of the game, both in attack and defence. So I gave him 3. I gave Jareem Buller 2. I thought other than the pass he did and obviously a drop ball that he received when he probably wasn't expecting it from Bateman, I thought he played a perfect game. He's just backing up well. He's passing well. He's a complete package. I mean, we have got more explosive fullbacks in the game, but given it's his second season, given I thought he had a quiet start to 2024, I think he's really, sort of doing his role proud and doing his club proud. So I gave him 2. And the 1 point I gave to Fanua Bolo. I'm loving what he's doing now. I tend to notice him more now because I feel personally I've undervalued him and underrated him.
Yeah.
I love his footwork. But that's actually, I've seen that with a couple of boys now. I thought Sione Fainu's footwork was outstanding for a big fella as well. But there were easily other guys I could have given points to. I thought Tallyn's effort was great. I thought Charlie Staines, he's running that ball with so much vigor. I don't think people realise when you're running into the bigger blokes, into the meat of an opposition forward pack at all your might. He's underrated, but he's a professional. He's just a true professional, gives it his all. There are plenty of players he probably could have given 1.2. That was a bit of a struggle for me, but personally, I thought Galvin and Buller stood out from the rest of the team.
Yep. I told you Charlie was underrated at the start of the year. No one believed me. I'm glad he's starting to prove me right. Who are your 3-2-1?
So I gave my 3 to Tallyn. I sat back after watching this game, and I think I sent the episode title idea to you not long after full time.
I will give
Great
you that.
Headline, by the way.
Great headline.
Thank you. Much
Silver
appreciated.
linings, beautiful.
Yeah.
And I really honestly thought that this was the game where he kind of announced himself to the NRL competition as a whole.
Yep.
Kind of put his name up in the headlines and gave himself an opportunity to stand out. And I really thought he took that with both hands, obviously with Appy out. Amazing game from Tallyn. I gave my 2 to Lockie. I just love what he does week after week after week. He puts his body on the line in defense. He has a very silky passing game. He's starting to get pretty good at finding when to pass and when to kick. Obviously, he's had a few shoddy kicks in recent weeks, but he seems to have kind of been coming back around to that, working on that side of his game and making some smarter decisions. And I'm really enjoying watching him continue to develop. And I'm so very looking forward to seeing how he goes combined with Jerome Luai next year. I think there's a brilliant combination potentially there. And I gave my 1 point to Charlie. I thought some of his carries out of our defensive end off the kick returns were quite good. Even some of the ones that Jareem kind of passed off to him and let him take the heel. And then obviously some of those carries out of trouble through the forwards also really good. And he just kept putting in the work, and beautiful try he scored. So I agree with you, Josh. A little bit underrated, but got my 1 this week.
And the people said exactly the same as you guys in order. So you are the man of the people. So if you look at the scoreboard, we have a new leader. So in the lead by half a point, Lachlan Galvin.
The Galvinator.
He's overtaken Appy, who obviously, was absent last week. He's back this week, as we're about, we'll talk about. But, it's with Drinkwater, look, he's 24.5 points back. Not impossible task that.
23 and a half behind Appy. Anyway.
Yeah,
23 behind Appy.
23 and a half. Sorry, 23 and a half. Sorry, the stats man got the carry the one.
I was saying 23 behind Appy in second there.
Yeah. So probably a 2-horse race. If these two fellas, touch wood, finish the rest of the year, but
6 games to go. Yeah,
lucky,
it seems like it potentially is just down to the two of them.
And I'm sure they care immensely about it. Statsman, what do you got for us this week?
I didn't really find too much this week. All I could really find was we had a really, really young team and probably one of the youngest in recent memory. Obviously, you can't have players playing NRL at the age of 17 or below anymore. I'm pretty sure that was a rule recently. I think Cameron Smith, obviously one of the last, or the only player to
Jordan
play
Rankin.
400 games.
Oh, sorry.
Debuted at a time where you could debut at the age of 17, and you can't do that anymore. So it does seem like that's a record that will probably never get broken. But we had, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was something along the lines of 5th or 6th youngest team in the history of the NRL. And considering the number of teenagers we had out there, that it really is saying something.
Yeah. When 18 season went off, I wonder what the average that would have made.
Surely
it.
our
Probably dropped by a
Titans
couple
game
of
was a
years.
bit younger. Like our Titans game would have been even more inexperienced, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, this week.
Well, there was no Appy this week.
Yeah.
And Appy was playing that Titans game.
Caesar out this. Caesar, Bateman, and Appy. Appy's back. Puppy.
Then we had
Puppy's
Mason,
still pretty young.
We had Mason in the squad I think, for the Titans game.
Yeah, we did.
We had Mason in the 17. We had a couple of others.
Instead of Tallyn.
Yeah.
Some stats from this one. Run meters fairly, about 100 meters more for the Rabbitohs. Post-contact meters, an extra 90 for the Rabbitohs. Line breaks, 7 to 6 for the Rabbits. Tackle breaks, an extra 9 for them. Possession, look, 46% of possession. As you said, Rob, they had controlled the game and held a bit better, 20 out of 40, 70% sets.
When I was rewatching the game, Josh, at one stage they put up the stat that we were like 24 out of 32 sets completed. They were 30 of 31 completed. So they were really completing at a very high rate for most of the game.
Yep. Offloads, 14 for us. Maybe probably a little bit too offload happy in this one. I know the whole year we've been asking for offloads. 14 to 9, we won that one.
Both teams kind of went a little bit fast and loose and free with the offloads, and neither team could really stop them. And I think that's probably one of the main concerns we've had about the team in recent years is wrapping the ball up. I remember our Easter Monday game against Para, they just could not stop offloading against us, and we just couldn't stop them from doing it.
Yeah.
Tackling wise, 86%, 81.5% for the Rabbits. They missed 30s, but obviously with more sets that we missed 45, they missed 36. So
not good from both teams.
Yeah, both pretty shit house. Their errors, 15 errors to 12. So yeah, look, if you're watching, I guess if you're a neutral in this game, I guess it was a pretty.
It was entertaining. At least. Even if it was a glorified cup standard.
Yeah, I guess a low mistake game doesn't necessarily make it more interesting, does it? But 7-2, the penalty count to the Rabbits. I know myself and my contingent weren't happy watching the game and expecting a few square ups. 7-2 penalty count. Anyone want to?
Yeah, the problem with this is it feels to us a lot of the time at the moment like we are an easy target for giving away penalties to the referees because of how much talk there's been about our discipline. And that's where I struggle to kind of see if the referees do or don't have a bit of a built-in bias towards the teams, because some of them obviously probably see some of these things as well, and it kind of does make it an easy target to kind of blow the whistle whenever they feel probably even half like they should, because it kind of does feel like a lot of the time we're getting penalized for things that we see so many times in a game where, and maybe even our opposition does something similar, but the whistle doesn't get blown. A lot of those 50-50 calls, because of our ill discipline, seem to just generally go against us.
Yeah.
I'd be more concerned with the fact that we didn't get more penalties than the one penalty. That means basically Souths were perfect all game.
Yeah.
With the 7 penalties, you can certainly take away Aiden Caesar's hip drop.
Yeah.
You can take away Adam Dewey kicking the ball out on the full. And, that has to be given. And obviously John Bateman in his 3-man strip, I think, on
the bunker. Yeah.
So, there's probably 4 general penalties. But remember, guys, if you're doing silly things and you're turning the ball over needlessly and then suddenly you're on the back foot, you're bound to give away penalties. You're bound to give away 6 agains. I think we lost the 6 agains 4-3 as well.
Or
something
5 to 4.
Yeah, we lost it by 1. So, again, we're kind of on the wrong side of everything.
I think we won it 5 to 4 because we got a couple with 5 minutes to go. The ref gave us a couple. I feel like because literally
the square up.
Yeah, my auntie and I are like, oh, good on you, mate. Like
one thing I was pretty impressed about as well early in the game, how we used our challenge, and I think Appy kind of doesn't take those risky decisions, and John kind of just said, stuff it, we'll use our challenge on this one, because it was maybe 8 minutes into the game where we got the successful challenge.
Felt like it was 3 minutes in the game.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I'll tell you straight up, we won the challenge, and in hindsight, it proved to be a great challenge.
Yeah.
You don't go for a challenge in the 3rd minute.
If you so,
but I mean, there's
you've got to be at like 1,000%.
We're not. We're 5 meters into their half. We're 5 meters into their half. It's not a definite scoring opportunity.
Get it right.
Just I don't know if it's worth risking, because once you lose that, then players can niggle in the tackle, strip at the ball. You can't challenge those strips. I just say, like you said, unless you're 100% certain, and obviously Bateman was, or whoever it was, was it Fainu, maybe Samuel Fainu, that decided to tell his captain? I think it might have been an incident on Fainu.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah,
it might have been a knock on or whatever it was. But look, it worked out right. But I just think, geez, you got to be very sure that you're going to win that challenge, because you don't want to be without it for 77 minutes.
Meter leaders: Charlie Staines 194, Lockie Galvin 187. He's lethal with the ball. He was so good with the ball. Adam Dwayne 3rd with 158. Post contact meters: Phil Bolle with 53. Line breaks: Charlie and Tallyn had 2 each. Hit ups: Bolle led that 2. He had 12 hit ups. 5 tackle breaks for Adam. Offloads: Lockie Galvin had 6, which is crazy. To talk about moving him to the forwards, he's leading offloads. He's second in meters gained.
Maybe he does have a future at lock later in his career.
He could do a Luke Lewis or something.
It's a waste.
Tackling wise, Johnny Bateman 42 and Tallyn Da Silva had 42 as well. The Great Wall of Twally missed one as 39 and 1.
Sacking.
Damn it, Twally.
Righto, Benji press conference. It's going to be a bit tough because you guys can't actually
I don't know what he said, so you might have to go to Aaron for that.
I've got to rack my brains about what he said.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think how you boys can actually...
Can you play it out loud for
us? If I play it out loud, it's going to go through the mic. It's going to echo.
Don't worry about it.
Don't
worry about it. You play for them.
We'll make it work.
Let's start with Benji talking about...
I just said to Tallyn, I thought you announced yourself the NRL today. We knew he had that in him, and he showed in the first half in particular glimpses of what he can do. He's still got a bit to work on, the kid, but he's a really good kid who wants to work hard, and he showed today what he can do. Yep. Pretty good. He went back on, passed his HIA, and he looked pretty upbeat in there.
So basically Benji saying that a breakout game for Tallyn Da Silva. We kind of hit on that
what Aaron
already.
Said earlier.
Yeah.
And don't forget those 2 line breaks he mentioned. He did 2 tries out of it.
Yep.
1 for himself.
A bit more
right.
Benji.
I mean, the positive for us is those guys, they have no fear about playing footy, and they showed today what they can do. But it's finding that balance for them, and we're all learning together. Like, this is obviously my first year as an NRL head coach, and it's been a very big learning experience for me. And I think in the long run, it'll be better for everyone that we've sort of learnt this way. Although it's been tough, I'm learning quite a lot about what needs to improve here and how we need to play. And and like I said, at the end of the day, the responsibility and the accountability comes back to me as the coach on results, and we haven't got those results. So the boys have been trying their heart out. They've been putting in every week, and I just need to be better for them.
So Benji basically saying doing a lot of learning, going through this process, and basically need to be better, but he's kind of almost glad that they're going through a bit of turmoil, I guess, to improve themselves, including himself. He's saying the boys basically trying trying their guts out every week. Would you agree with that?
Well, this week they did. I can't say the previous week, but definitely this week they tried their hardest. But I don't think they played as smart as they should have. Personally, I don't know what Aaron. How do you feel about that? I didn't think we played smart. I thought we tried, but I think we did a lot of silly things.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely tried, and I think that's probably one of the biggest compliments we can give the team. Obviously, they're extremely young and they've got a lot to learn. And I think it's going to take a while to learn a lot of those things. Like Penrith, for example, they had maybe a season and a half that were a little bit down before they hit their peak that they're at now. And that was all of their young players coming through the lower grades who had to learn the process and learn the game and learn the changes from reserve grade through to first grade. But yeah, I do agree there. I think the silly mistakes are things they'll hopefully grow out of. Obviously, it was a really tough game for Luke, for example. His confidence will be extremely down after that, and I don't know how he feels going into his next game. And yeah, once we get those silly mistakes out of our game, as the guys get a bit more experience and growth and learning, I think a lot of them will come pretty good.
Right, let's move on to next week's game. So West Tigers playing the New Zealand Warriors Friday evening at 6 p.m. Az, do you want to run us through the team list for the West Tigers?
Sure can. So fullback is Jareem Buller. Wingers are Luke Laulii and Charlie Staines. Solomon Fa'atape is in the centres along with the returning Stafford To'a. Lachlan Galvin is in the halves alongside Latu Fainu. Stefano Utoikamanu and Fanua Bole are the props with Api Coruscant at hooker. Ruben Porter is into the second row along with Samuela Fainu. Isaiah Papali'i is back at lock. Tallyn Da Silva, Alex Seyfarth, Sione Fainu and Alex Twal make up the bench. Heath Mason is 18th man. The rest of the reserves are Justin Matamua, Kit Laulii, Solomon Aliamalo and Tony Suka.
So yeah, plenty of changes this week, Rob. Obviously, Johnny Bateman off to England. Ruben Porter being rewarded with an edge. He's become a little bit of a cult favourite amongst West Tigers fans. But yeah, thoughts on him partnering Samuela in the back row?
Look, it's an interesting choice. He was probably one of our better players against the Roosters in the first half. I thought his stats looked really good there. And it was actually, I was quite surprised that he got dropped. But, you know, good to see him back. I don't know whether he deserves a starting spot. But, look, I think Benji's – look, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He's shuffling the deck chairs a lot, giving everyone a chance. But at the same time, as much as he's giving everyone a chance, there's no stability. It's just chop and change, chop and change. I'm actually surprised to see Isaiah playing in the middle. But at the end of the day, if Isaiah's not going to be a part of the team next year and he wants to improve Ruben's progress, then give him a go on the edge. But I probably certainly would have had Papali'i on an edge as opposed to a middle.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Az? Papa at the lock position. I think it's just Benji's thought on the best way to win. Yeah, Bole.
He's a damaging wide runner. I wouldn't play him in the middle.
Yeah,
that's just me. But I mean, I know Aaron's probably got some thoughts on that.
Well, I can't remember if it was the game in Tamworth where we tried Isaiah at lock, or if it was the game
really good
in Newcastle, North Queensland, where he got injured. Or maybe it was a bit of both. Actually, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was named at lock for that night's game in Tamworth, but due to injuries, he ended up having to shuffle back to the second row. And I'm pretty sure he was named back at lock for that game against North Queensland.
Yeah.
I think he's got a bit of ability there. Obviously, there's a little bit of a ball-playing ability, but it does seem like he is more of a second rower. I guess the John Bateman experiment there didn't really work. So how is the Isaiah Papali'i experiment going to go is probably my main question. But I think he's got the capability. It'll be a matter of seeing how his defense stacks up, because it is a position where you need to make your tackles, because if you don't, the opposition is just going to go straight through the middle time after time.
Time after time. Stafford To'a in the centres. Adam Dwayne apparently being given a rest, Rob.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Apparently there's a bit of load management going on. I was told To'a was taken off at half-time in cup games. So obviously this might have been a preconceived idea to give Adam a rest. But look, I thought, looks funny with Adam, like his run meters are good. I didn't think he had a great game personally, but the one time Adam passed it got Laulii away down the left side for that try on half-time. And ironically, Fata Ape as well hardly ever passes the ball. The one time he passes it, Charlie Staines scores. So centers, pass the ball a little bit, please. Look, give him a go. I mean, I don't mind him resting Adam. I think he's really pushing that knee. Like when he tries to go for that try line and push 3 or 4 blokes, he's giving it his all. So one good thing with Adam is he's got a lot of confidence with the knee, which is wonderful. But look, we just got to trust Benji and whatever the coaching staff and high performance team are planning.
The halfback obviously sees it out. Fainu getting the 7 jersey as.
Yeah, this was one of those things that we were all, I think, wondering what the answer to that particular question would be. I think I saw something on Twitter earlier today where Api Coruscant was caught training in the halves along with Latu, alongside Lockie, and it was the question there was, maybe Latu's going to come off the bench and Api's going to start in the 7 and then move into the 9 potentially a little bit later on, or back to the bench, and Tallyn goes back to the bench and then Api moves into the 9. So yeah, I do think there's a lot of promise in this particular pairing. I think I saw somewhere that Lockie and Latu were 2 parts of a spine back in their schoolboy days that I think won a comp
under 13s or something. Yeah,
under 13s, yeah.
It's a Westfield Sports almost spine, isn't it? Totally, with Tallyn as well.
Yeah, only minus Blaze Talangi, who's currently a Parramatta. So if they know their game and they know how each other plays, I think there's potentially a lot of promise there. We may see Api moving into the number 7 if Latu needs a rest and Tallyn comes into number 9. So there is potentially a little bit of chopping and changing there, but I am looking forward to seeing how Lockie and Latu go.
Yeah, I think Latu will have his minutes restricted. So if he starts, I'm very sure you'll see Api switch to halfback and Tallyn come on. And although I'm not crazy about Api playing 80 minutes because he started 2023 with a poor calf and having to come off the bench, and he's done his calf again only 2 weeks ago. So I think if we're resting Adam Dwayne, we should be really looking after Api. He's our everything just about.
Depends how the game's going, I guess. If they're miles behind, if they're a chance to win, keep Api on.
True, but just don't want to be pushing calf injuries. Sure. I know what it's like.
We don't really have another captain, I guess, in the side now as well, because John Bateman was the vice captain. So if Api was to go off the field, the question would be who takes the captaincy? Maybe Stefano, considering I think it was
he might be off the field too.
Depends what he does tomorrow, mate. if he says he's going to Melbourne tomorrow, he ain't going to be vice captain.
Well, he was our captain in the New Zealand trial in 2023, so that's all that makes
because Caesar's suspended.
Twally,
maybe Isaiah. Isaiah's got the experience.
Give it a Twally.
Does it even matter? Who cares? Who cares? Just make anyone.
Just in case we still have our challenge if Api goes off the field.
Get Luke to be vice captain. No one can blame him for anything.
I think we've hit every talking point. I think that's pretty much all the changes.
Safe Arthur's back on the bench, and I'm happy to see him back so soon after that head knock.
The head knock,
that took a lot out of him. Like, you could tell that he was in deep trouble, so I'm really happy to see him back so soon.
Yeah. Poor Matamua can't get a run.
I don't know what's going on there.
Right, run us through the New Zealand Warriors.
Worries. So fullback is Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak and Edward Kossi are the wingers, with Ali Leatua and Moala Graham Talfa in the centres. Chanel Harris-Tavita and Tamare Martin are the halves. Adam Fanua-Blake and Mitch Barnett are the starting props, with Wade Egan at hooker. Marata Niokore and Kurt Capewell are the second rowers, with Dylan Walker at lock. Freddie Lussick, Jackson Ford, Jazz Tavanga and Lika Halasima are the bench. Tom Ale is their 18th man. Bunty Afoa, Dimitrik Sifakula, Setu Tu and Ben Farr are their reserves.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this Warriors side?
That's a big changes in the back line, isn't there? I mean, Tuivasa-Sheck goes back to fullback. They've got a new centre pairing there with Lauatiti and who is it, Graham Tufa. Kossi's played a bit of first grade, not too much though. Good halves. Very good pack though. Their pack's their strength. Barnett's been in awesome form, obviously.
Good on you, Barnett.
Just making his debut in Origin for New South Wales. Fanua Blake, when he wants
He
to
was
play,
great in Origin, by the way.
he was great.
Yeah.
Fanua Blake's as good as any prop when he's on his day. Wade Egan is a very underrated hooker. I think he's in the top 5 hookers in the game. Great back row. Dylan Walker's very capable as well. Solid bench. But again, it's more about what we do as opposed to what they do. But they've certainly got enough strike there. Apparently, we've lost, I think, 6 in a row against them. So I think we're due for a win. So hopefully we can do that.
There's a sheet with all the
wins and losses.
There's the losses there that we can get into. But as anyone in, anything to add on the Warriors side there?
I said this to Dad when I ran him through their team list earlier today. The thing that worries me the most is Roger Tuivasa-Sheck being moved back to fullback. He is probably the most dangerous player on the field in that position. And the fact that he's been playing at centre, so some of the younger guys coming through have been able to play in that fullback spot. I think has been better for other teams, but even though I think he's getting on a little bit in age, he's probably still the most dangerous player on the field when he's in the fullback position. Tamari Martin
how old is he?
I think
he's got to be in his early 30s.
Early to mid 30s, yeah, potentially. Tamari Martin and Chanel Harris-Tavita in the halves, always a very dangerous combination. I wonder who's going to be taking their goal kicking, considering that lost them the game against the Raiders.
4 tries to 3 and they lost.
Yeah.
And sitter from next to the...
Someone's going to nail 7 from 7 this week. You watch.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Chanel, he had a bit of a shocker. There's no denying that. He missed all 3 of the shots he took because I think, I can't remember their name, but there was a different player who took and nailed the first one. But they struggled after that.
I think it was their centre and he came off injured.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. But I think they'll probably have practiced that a little bit at training this week. So that is something we are going to have to be probably, I guess, not really careful of because there's nothing there that we can control. But in saying that, if they've improved that area of their game, they are going to be a lot more dangerous than they were against the Raiders last week.
So previous games, like you said, Rob, so six in a row. We haven't beaten them since March 2019. So we haven't beaten them since COVID, basically. We beat them 34-6 early in 2019 at Campbelltown. And before that, it was 4 out of the last 5 before that. So 2017, beat them 28-6 at Leichhardt. We won 36-24 at Mount Smart in 2016. And we beat them twice in 2016. Campbelltown 34-26 and 50-16 in Campbelltown 2015. I think that 2015 game might have been Robbie Farah's last game before 2016. Was it 2016 he went to the Rabbitohs? His
last game was Canterbury before he went to the Rabbitohs. Yeah, it was 2016.
I feel like I remember that game.
2015, I think, might have been Paddy Richards' last game. I remember. I think
they both had a shot at goal.
Yeah, that was the one where we put 50 on him, and I think Paddy Richards awarded his own try to himself. And
I don't remember that.
And Keithy Galloway had a shot at goal. So right in front. Yeah, I was sitting right on that corner. They both had a shot at goal. I got the video of it. But yeah, any Warriors games? Obviously 2011. Obviously the big one that stands out.
The semi-final.
Yeah,
I think the one that I always remember not going to, obviously, but it was in New Zealand, was we all know the very famous Gareth Ellis Benji imitation where he actually flicked past to Benji. I think we were down by at least 3 to 4 converted tries and came back and won a game. I was at a christening or a wedding or something that afternoon. I ducked into the Lidcombe Hotel to watch the last 15 or 20 minutes. I remember going ape shit over the comeback. That was pretty special. Unfortunately we remember that 2011 one because that was a game that we should have nailed and been out of reach before they made their comeback.
Yep. Righto. Best comments of the week. Do you guys remember who? Because I got the boys to pick a couple. So
I've got a couple here. I've got one from.
They can actually read. You saved me to read this week.
I've got some quick ones. I got one from who have we got here? We've got Luke Hayward. Some positive signs with the ball. Defense wasn't good though, and low IQ of some players continues to hurt the team, which I told you I've made a big list about. And Kathy, South didn't win that game. The Tigers lost that game. Too many errors in our red zone, unnecessary push passes and some ill discipline. Bateman needs a stint in lower grade or in England for Warrington. And so does Caesar, but likely to get suspended anyway. Some promising signs from the younger crew, and we'll look better next year
Kathy knows something.
when Jesus is our halfback. No, I just threw in that Warrington thing.
Oh, right.
Sorry, mate. She knew that well. And Shane Cowart just put it very simply. A young side with an inexperienced coach will never work. So that's not very it's quite damning, actually, of Benji.
What do you got, Az?
So I've got Steve, who says enterprising and fluent attack was encouraging. However, the turnover of the ball due to careless passing or catching was deflating. 28 points without Appy was excellent, but Tigers missed his steadying influence, especially off the sets immediately after scoring a try. Youthful exuberance will keep me watching and positive for 2025. And then I've also got Bobby Young, who says, unbelievable that in such a young side, it's the senior players that ruin our chances the most. Bateman and Caesar in particular both try hard, but they make so many errors and give away so many penalties. It does far more harm than good, and that's every week. Young Luke Lowley had the worst last 20 minutes to a game I've ever seen in my entire life. Hope he keeps his head up and stays positive, because that was a nightmare for the kid. Up the Tigers and fuck Fouth Fidney.
It was only 3 mistakes, guys. He had a good game. But 3 crucial mistakes.
Yeah, 3's not a lot for a first grader. But, right, I'm going to lie. I haven't done my tips yet, and I hadn't put your tips up, but let's go through.
Okay, I've got my
I know
tips
you
on.
both
I
did.
texted them to
You
you.
both, yeah, you both.
We're both on our game, Josh. How about you, huh?
Me. I was, yeah.
You just got to make sure you got the team, the actual games in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, we got New Zealand.
Well,
and the Tigers first.
I'm gonna open the Chase Bet app and see what the prices they're offering at the moment. Let me just get it up and running for this week. We first game this week. Yeah, we are. $4. $4 for the Tigers. What do you reckon, boys? Any chance?
That's value.
Yeah.
It really is value. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think we started a little bit higher odds than that, and I think maybe since team lists we've come in a little bit. Obviously, Appy back is a big in. I don't think anyone was sure whether he'd be back after 1 week, or maybe if it would take 2 weeks for him to come back from that calf. But then obviously he was on the Sunday night with Matty Johns, along with Lockie, and he confirmed to them, and Benji, I think, confirmed in his press conference that he would be coming back this week. So big in for us, obviously. It just feels like the Warriors are a bit of the safe tip at the moment. They're at home. They've been pulling in really awesome crowds at home. They haven't been in the same form as last year, particularly at home. But I think the way they're playing, they've got a little bit more to play for than us. Their season is literally on the line after their loss to the Raiders. So they'll be desperate, and we need to be ready for that.
It's a must-win for them, but like I said, they've got 2 new centres. I'm pretty sure Lauatiti played in the trials against us.
Yeah.
They've got 2 new centres. They've got a relatively new winger who hasn't been in first grade for a while. But again, it's their pack. I think the guy we've got to watch is Wade Egan. It pretty much, we don't often get it right. But last week, I think we nailed it with South Sydney. It was going to be a high-scoring game. South will win by a couple of tries. Watch Damien Cook. If we don't stop the go forward, Damien Cook was on fire till he got shifted to the centres. He was just carving us up the middle. So I think we've just got to stop New Zealand up the middle. If we can do that, we're halfway there, because if they get a roll on, doesn't matter who they got out wide, they'll score.
Parramatta Eagles $6 against the Storm at home. Crazy. All running to shit for the Eels this year. Can't say I'm not enjoying it, but obviously Mitchell Moses pretty much gonzo for the season. Wow. $6 for the Storm.
Yeah, no, they can be $16. The Parramatta would need to be on for 80 minutes to. They've got the players that can offload, and the Bryce Cartwrights, and they got some good runners like Dylan Brown and Blaze Talangi, and obviously Gutho at the back. But I hate to say, like, Melbourne are pretty much the form team now. Like, they're just. I never gave them much hope, to be honest, against the Roosters, even though they've been playing well, and they destroyed them. They never looked like losing.
They were a home underdog against the Roosters. I couldn't believe it, considering it's top of the ladder versus, I think it was 4th at the time.
I know, but I just felt like the Roosters had a bit more in every way, forwards, backs. So the Storm are still missing players. They're missing their best player, Cameron Munster.
Yeah.
He's still winning.
He's not back yet.
They've got the best coach in the world. I know Penrith have won 3 comps in a row, but Craig Bellamy's the best coach.
Yeah.
I literally think this game could be a 50+ for the Storm. They are that good at the moment. I think, Para, without Mitchell Moses to lead the attack, they've got Gutherson. Blaze can do a bit. Dylan Brown, he's not all that is cracked up to be in the halves, especially if he's the half who has to take charge. I think Melbourne are going to put some pain on the Eels in this one.
Grant Anderson, $1.53, score a try. Sean Ball, about $4. Okay.
Maybe put Grant Anderson on for a double. How much would that pay?
270, 280.
Doubles. It takes too long for me to find it. Broncos, $1.35 favourites against the Doggies. Who are the Doggies? Pretty much full strength?
Pretty much full strength.
Yeah.
I think it's more on the fact of Brisbane's brilliant performance against Newcastle on Saturday night. Reece Walsh was back in the form that we know Reece Walsh to be, but more importantly, they got Adam Reynolds back. Just shows you how important, having your main man there and your halfback and organising and giving your team width and having your structures there. Great kicking game. So as long as Adam Reynolds is healthy, my tip for them to win the premiership is still alive. Very unlikely, but still alive. So I think they're special this week.
Az, anything to add on that game?
No, I've gone Brisbane as well. They looked way too clinical last week, even with those players who have literally only just come back, including Reynolds and the Dogs. They couldn't get the job done up in far north Queensland, and I thought they were going to. It was the only tip I got wrong last week.
Should mention that Piacora's out, their second row. That is a big loss because they're replacing him with, I think, is it Kobe Hetherington or something? I think the replacement for Piacora is not crash hot, so that is a significant loss on their left edge.
Cows at home favourites against the Sharkies.
I've gone Sharks, but no confidence. Big loss having Will Kennedy suspended. So they've got a new kid at fullback whose name escapes me. I know they played really well against us, but honestly, I didn't think we showed up, and that was at home, and that was with a one-sided ref, and the Cowboys are a little bit of a different proposition up there. They weren't impressive against the Bulldogs. I think the Bulldogs should have won that game. They unlucky to have a try disallowed over the line, which probably was a no try, but that would have put a bit of a gap on the game and got them a victory. So Cowboys are struggling. This could be a golden point one. I really can't pick it, but I'm going to go Cronulla just because I think they've got a few more points in them than the Cowboys at the moment.
Dragons, $4 underdogs at home against the Panthers.
No.
Oh, sorry, I missed the Roosters. Sorry, Roosters favourites at home against Manly $2.75. They're going all right at the moment, but yeah, the Roosters tough.
Yeah, I think much like their game in Manly in round 2, this one could be extremely close. Could come right down to the last few minutes. There's a lot of attack in Manly at the moment, especially with Tom Trbojevic back at fullback where he belongs, and that they are looking really good and real smoky potentially for the top 4. I think they're 5th going into this game, and the Roosters are 4th. So the Roosters, if they do lose this one, will drop out of the top 4, and Manly potentially could overtake them. So they're a bit of a smoky for that position at the moment. I am going with the Roosters. I think they'll be desperate for a bounce back after what they dished out in Melbourne, and I think they will just have enough in them to get the job done.
Yeah, I'm with Aaron. I think the Roosters. And if I know Manly had a big win against the Titans, but if Manly get behind 10-0 against the Roosters, it's going to be 30-0. Like, you don't give the Roosters 10 points head start.
Sorry, Dragons, Panthers, $4 for the Dragons. Is this in the Gong or Cogra? Doesn't actually say.
It is win.
Which is
Wollongong.
Yep. Yeah, Nathan Cleary.
Penrith 1-12.
Yeah, they looked a little bit clunky, I guess, but that was without their Origin players last week. The Dolphins probably really should have had them, but Nathan Cleary steps up as he tends to do and ices the game.
I'll just go 1-12. I think Saints off the bye will be
11
quite fresh. Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, Dragons, fresh off the bye. Panthers should get the job done.
Finns fairly heavy favourites against the Titans at home. Is this a KO or
Suncorp?
Suncorp, obviously Queensland Derby.
This should be an attractive game, but the Dolphins should have beaten Penrith last weekend, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Titans really disappointing against Manly. I really thought. I mean, I tipped Manly, but I thought the Titans could get them.
It was a really good start by the
It
Titans,
was a great start by the Titans. They just fell away, and they've got so much talent in that team. So I don't know. It depends which Titans show up, but I just think, the Bennett factor, and, they'll be pretty, pissed off they never beat Penrith, and Katoa be disappointed for not going for that field goal when he had the chance to, and doing a cross-field kick. That could have gone on that list for brain dead moments.
Yeah, I was watching
So
I was
stupid.
at Eastern Creek watching the Supercars, and I was with my cousin who's a Panthers fan. He had it on the phone, and I was like, and there was no pressure. Yeah, crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah. Raiders favourites at home against the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs obviously didn't look crash hot against us last week. Canberra at home.
I've gone with Canberra in this one, but not with a lot of confidence. To me, this is probably the closest game of the week. I really can't split them. I'm just leaning towards the Raiders, probably with home field advantage. They'll ride the momentum a little bit of their win against the Warriors last week, no matter the way they got it. But the Rabbits, though, they are playing for their season as well. If they lose this one, their finals chances are probably kaput. So this is a really desperate game and should be a really good one to watch.
Yeah, I've gone Raiders, and for anyone into Rob Stradamus stuff, I think this is a low-scoring game. I think they're both struggling.
Chase bet, if you're going to have a bet, if you go to westtigers.com.au, click the purple button and sign up. Think about your choices. Gambling help, 1-800-858-858. Right on to lower grade. So New South Wales Cup, they got smacked 52-16 by the Dragons down in Wollongong last week. They are playing the Warriors, so 3:15 in the afternoon on Friday, Arvo. If you got an early knockoff, I guess, I don't know if you'd be able to watch it at all, but 3:15 our time for the Magpies. So the Magpies are going over as well. There you go. Jersey Flegg got done by the Dragons 28-22. I believe the whole comp has the bye this week in Jersey Flegg. That's according to the draw. In the Harvey Norman women's, we will get to the NRLW women's. They lost 20-14 to the Rabbits at Redfern Oval last week, and they play Mounties at Campbelltown 11:30 Sunday morning, which is obviously right before the NRLW.
Yep, doubleheader.
You got the team list for the girls there?
I sure do. So our girls line up. We've got Bovedy Welsh at fullback. Harmony Crichton and Tess Staines are the wingers. Leanne Tafunga and Rakea Horn are the centres. Pauline Pilaye, Rasabale, and Lozana Lutu are the halves. Sarah Togatuki and Christian Pio are our front rowers, with Salma Noor at hooker. Kezi Apps and Cheyenne McGlone are the second rowers, with Nevada George at lock. Sophie Curtin, Tara Ranke, Natasha Penatani, and Brooke Talatena are our bench. Jessica Kennedy is 18th woman, with Tiana Lee Thorne, Rebecca Pollard, Claudia Nielsen, and Imogen Gobrin as the reserves.
So as you're heading there on Sunday, obviously you're our NRLW correspondent. You reckon, you were telling me off air, you reckon we're a good chance in nabbing this one? And we started the season well last year too. Obviously, we're on the top of the table for a minute there.
Yeah, so we did start with 2 wins from 2 games last year. We beat the Eels quite comfortably and then beat the Sharks, keeping them to 0 in a much more low-scoring game. But there were really good signs in those first couple of weeks. I think the team this year is probably a bit more primed for a potential run at the finals. They look a lot better. Obviously, a lot of the girls who played last year had very minimal, or for most of them, next to no NRLW experience. And even though it's only a 9-week season, they are a lot better for that run in 2023. I do think there are a couple of threats in the Raiders team that we're going to have to watch out for, but I do think we can get the job done. I'm looking forward to this game. I've been hanging for the NRLW season to start for at least a couple of months now.
Sure have.
It's finally here. The girls get their chance to show us what they're made of. There's no Thursday night footy in the men's this week because they wanted to give that NRLW showcase the opening it deserved, Thursday, especially with I think it's the Roosters, or the Knights and the Roosters going head-to-head on Thursday night, and that's going to be a blockbuster as well. I think they've got a really good draw for the NRLW round 1 this year, and I'm looking forward to watching as many of the games as I can.
Beautiful. Yeah, head out to Campbelltown on Sunday. What is it, 1:45?
Yep. So obviously 11:30 for the Harvey Norman women's game, and then 1:45 for NRLW.
Beautiful. Go, you girls. Super chats just in time. Brandon W. He sent us $8 on the super chat. He said, "I like the bigger episode, fellas. Great potty as always. Is Bateman the start of an exodus of players potentially, or who would you want to go for?" Well, they're saying he's coming back. Would we obviously hit?
Was it the start or the continuation of the exodus? I mean,
Yeah.
we've lost Papali'i. We're most likely losing Steph. We're shopping other players around. It seems like the
exodus has already begun.
Exodus. Yeah, it's already begun. But as we keep saying, or keep trying to convince ourselves anyway, in Richo we trust.
Is Exodus, is that when the Jews wandered the desert for 40 years?
I got no idea.
I think that's, is it?
Something like that.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's us
Egypt
wandering the desert for 40 fucking years. I only know that because of The Simpsons, because of Ralph Wiggum.
That episode where they did the Bible tales.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's Exodus. I could be wrong. Don't strike me down, God, for getting that wrong. Patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to support the show. What have the guys got for us this week as I bide my time because I always forget to have it open, ready to read. Wet Dog said he's only new 20th of July. That's about right, isn't it? Yeah, 20th of July is the new ones. He said it is understandable to feel frustrated after a recent performance, and I share that sentiment. However, we are making progress and not that far from turning things around. There are approximately 5 players who need to be replaced, and as they are currently holding the team back. We already have Jerome and Taruva as promising replacements. Latu has the potential to be an excellent 13. His size is comparable to Cam Murray. If we sign or develop another second rower, coupled with some young centres in our pathways next year or two, will be much stronger position. Sione Chicken Wings, aka Ben, said, "Clemmer now in the coffin. Goodbye. Enjoy England or State Cup. I don't want to see Matamua not in this team." Well, you saw it again. I don't want to see him not. Yeah,
I want to see.
You want to see him.
That might be better. I want to see.
Yeah, I get what he's trying. The double negative. What he's trying to say. There, Luke Lowe, for as talented as he is so raw. He needs to finish the season and cup and work on things. He didn't get that either. Caesar is such a disappointment after a good start of the year. He can stay on the sidelines to finish. Well, the NRL have done that for you. We need to somehow go out and recruit experienced players who do the job they are asked, because ours are just bigger let down the KFC running out of chicken wings. I'm more of a breast man, the KFC. Not that I eat KFC. I like the breast.
My favourite piece, the
too. Breast. Yeah.
Mine too.
100%.
Yeah,
That's too.
The wing's shit.
100%.
Yeah, why would you go the wing? Our junior intake coming into first in 25 needs to halve, in my opinion. If you like Luke L now, he could never bounce back. That was Big Brovosky fan club. Riff, aka Big Red fan club, said, "Reminds me of Dom Young." Oh, they're having a conversation in the weekly rant here.
Oh, okay.
Saying Luke Lowe, he reminds me of Dom Young when he first joined the Knights. There you go. It's
as in making mistakes. No, seriously, I think like that was a reference.
Yeah, he said nervous energy, wanting to be involved. He'll be right. Just needs time. He also said, honestly, never like losing, but if you can't see the forest through the trees, you're kidding yourself. There were moments in that match we were pure fire. And off season,
100%.
a couple cut adrift, and people pulled aboard, and we are on the way. Believe. Yep, more conversation between the guys. Ben Ellis said, "Should we sign Barrett as an attacking coach?"
Probably not.
All right.
He just doesn't seem to have success anywhere. Well, I mean, as an assistant coach, he's had premiership wins, obviously, at Penrith, but no, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know him. I shouldn't comment, really.
Hip drop. Shane Cowett said, "This hip drop rule is killing me. I said after the game that Caesar would have been binned if the player got to his feet and played the ball." Finally, Chris Lawrence said, "Yeah, Chris Lawrence is going off on Twitter about that, actually." Yeah. Good on you, Chris. He's back in his boys. This style of tackle has been done for decades. Why is it now all up in lights?
What I said earlier.
I'd say 99% of these types of tackles are unintentional. Of course, they're unintentional. It's dumb. It's annoying. He wasn't. Yeah. Yep, it is what it is.
I think even worse than those ones are, I think the cannonball ones they're called, where the player comes in basically diving at the back of the legs.
I think that's worse.
That was one I think it was Pat Carrigan did to Jackson Hastings when he played for us up at Suncorp a couple of years ago, and like that ended Jacko's season. I think that's probably one of the worst tackles in the game.
If you watch the Galvanator, like his first few games in first grade, every second tackle looks like a hip drop from Lockie. Like, I mean, you know,
and he got pulled up for that one and got sent to the sin bin for it against
Parramatta.
Yeah,
exactly, and got suspended, which really hurt us because we missed him against the Dolphins. Just, give Luke a break. Give Luke Lally a break. I mean, a drop ball is a drop ball. I mean, he made two other errors. One he overran a pass from dummy half, but the one that I thought was a low IQ one was you just don't go 5 meters out from South's try line from dummy half. Like, you've got to be aware of what tackle it is. I mean, I know that comes with experience, but don't tell me when they're playing under 15s, I don't know what tackle it is. You know, you've got to be a bit smarter than that.
The exact same thing. I yelled that.
That's the one. That's the one where, again, it's low IQ. What are we teaching them? Why don't they have the game awareness? We were within 10 points at that stage, so we only needed 2 tries. It happened with about 10 minutes to go. So if we score there, you never know. We could have pulled off the big finish.
Righto, that just about does it. Big thank you to iChoice for having us, coming on board with us. Rob, do you want to iChoice coming on board, a great thing for the show, and Jason from iChoice, a big West Tigers supporter himself as well.
So Jason Curry, who runs, so just in case we haven't told you, iChoice is a finance centre, a loan centre. So Jason Curry's been a lifelong Balmain and West Tigers supporter. His dad, who's my uncle, was even a barman at Balmain Leagues Club for many years. So we've got a long history with the club. Loves the Tigers. As soon as he heard about our podcast and knew we had a bit of an issue with West Ashfield, no offence to West Ashfield, he said, I'll jump on board, and I think he wants to jump on board next year. So if you guys are looking to finance, he deals with all the major players and he'll get you the best rates, and his knowledge of finance, and not only finance but taxation and how to structure your loans, he's fantastic. I do all my stuff through him, and he's wonderful, and I'll get you guys to, he'll save you money on whatever you're doing now. He'll get you a better deal. So try and back the guys that back us. So give iChoice a call.
Yep. Check out iChoice. This is his office. I know Shane
so cool.
Like
this is a bloody awesome.
This is all his stuff.
We've got a boxing bag. We've got we've got a putting green. We've got a blackjack table, and he's got the full screen.
Very hipster office. It's very, very good, and letting us run amok.
And I know about you guys, but this is much easier to do a podcast.
I think we're getting a lot of comments.
The StreamYard and
stuff
like that. I feel like I can talk. I'm talking to someone.
Good to see your faces too.
I think one of the things that I tend to notice the most when we're doing the podcast from home is we tend to talk over each other a lot, and we miss things and kind of skip things, and this feels a lot more personable, and I think works a lot better.
Just feel like hopefully the listeners agree about the game. And it's much easier. So
So a few people in the comments are saying we're not doing the Monday. If we can, but probably do the one big Tuesdays like this for the rest of the season, because it's just obviously committing.
Well, why don't you set up a poll on the socials and see what days our listeners prefer, and we can try and work with that as well.
Monday probably wouldn't be an option because obviously we don't have team lists until Tuesday. So,
or we can do a short.
We do have a couple of Thursday. We do have a couple of Thursday games coming up though.
I think Tuesday works well.
It works for me. I want to do what.
Let us know. Let us know. Send us podcast@westlife.com or something.
Give us some
feedback. But lots of nice comments coming through that they enjoyed us. Shane Cole just said, "You three are beautiful specimens." He didn't.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks,
Shane. That's worth it. A $5 super chat right there. You don't have to pay for that one.
You can probably see me blushing a little bit more than you can on my laptop camera now anyway. So
the LED lights makes us look a bit red. That's all right. Right, boys. Anything before we say goodnight to Big Dog?
No, all good. Good to be here. Good to see you guys. Keep the faith, people. I don't know how long it'll take, but one day it'll happen. Just keep the faith.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to do as well. It can be a little bit tough at times, and I'm kind of feeling that a lot of the time where I'm struggling a little bit to kind of feel connected to the team or something like that. But I am just trying to, at the moment, look forward. It is a little bit tougher, though, obviously seeing a couple of players who played in our colours, absolutely killing it in other teams. Obviously, Sean at the Storm, A lot of the guys who are now at Manly, once they've gotten some good players to play alongside, they're kind of killing it. Obviously, Brooksy, Tommy Talau, he's not quick, but he's still doing a job out there. Josh Alloye to a lesser extent, Jake Simpkin.
That guy.
They're
Jacob Little.
Jacob Little at the Dragons as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been tough, but like the rest of you, I'm trying to hang in there, and hopefully starting next year and maybe towards the back end of this year, some
And the ladies
more
on
good
Sunday
things to come
as well.
for us and the boys and the girls.
Well, hopefully the girls will do some good. And I tell you what, from what I saw of Kezi Apps in the 3 Origin games,
She's ready to roll.
She's healthy as, and she's unstoppable. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing her, make some tackle breaks and offloads, and it'll be good to watch.
I'm really hopeful that a fresh season for the girls obviously breeds a little bit of life back into the fan base as well, because obviously we're 21 rounds now into the men's season, where obviously we've only won 4 games, and it's a 9-round season for the girls, which goes a little bit into the men's finals. But yeah, hopefully signs of life for the fan base, some good things to cheer over the coming weeks, and some good Tigers footy for both the men's and women's teams.
Righto. As always, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.